My name is Amy Lawson, and I'm a Humanist Marriage Officer with the Peace Foundation. And I was delighted when Laura and Sean asked me to conduct their wedding ceremony for them today. They have chosen to marry in these beautiful surroundings, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all here to the cowshed to witness and share in the joy of the marriage of Laura Joyce and Sean Stokes. It has been such a pleasure to learn about their story so far that has brought them here to their wedding day. And it means a lot to Laura and Sean that they can share this special moment with the people they love. And quite simply, they couldn't get married without you all being here. Each and every one of you are a very important part of this day as you witness the commitment they are making to each other. They want to make a declaration of their love to each other in the presence of those whom they love and whose friendship they cherish the most. I would now like to offer a heartfelt special thank you to our wedding party, to our very sweet flower girls, Gracie, Bella and Darcy, and our handsome Hoodboy House, wherever he is, and our beautiful maid of honour and bridesmaids, Susan and Rachel. Big thank you also goes to our big dapper best man and ushers, Chris, Callum, Daniel, Fraser, Abe and Adrian. And last but by no means least, thank you to Richard for walking his daughter Laura down the aisle. The part you are all playing in today's proceedings is special and will never be forgotten by Sean and Laura. Their Humanist Marriage Ceremony has enabled Laura and Sean to express their feelings about each other and about their marriage in a way that is deeply personal to them. Humanism is a life stance based on freedom of choice and thought. It holds that we live one life, and it is our duty to live that as best as we can, supporting one another and sharing with our fellow human beings all of the burdens and pleasures that life has to offer. Humanism focuses on those things which unite us all, rather than those that divide us. And one of the most important things is to celebrate the love between two people who have decided to make a lasting commitment to one another. And I'm sure that you will all agree that we are united today in wishing these two wonderful people all of the best of their married lives together. Today, Laura and Sean make formal acknowledgement before you all that they want to spend the rest of their lives together. Beyond the love they share, Laura and Sean will always try to stay friends. Friends who trust, respect and help each other. Friends who base their relationship on honesty, patience and humour. And guided by these principles, Laura and Sean can allow each other to develop in their own individual ways, yet still embrace the intimacy that draws two lives into one future. I would now like to invite Ashley to join us to deliver our first reading for us today, which is called I Will Be There by Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Tomorrow morning, if you wake up and the sun does not appear, I will be here. If in the dark you lose sight of love, hold my hand and have no fear, because I will be here. I will be here when you feel like being quiet, when you need to speak your mind, I will listen. And I will be here when the laughter turns to crying. Through the winning, losing and trying, we'll be together, because I will be here. Tomorrow morning, if you wake up and the future is unclear, I will be here. As sure as seasons were made for change, our lifetimes were made for years, so I will be here. I will be here, and you can cry on my shoulder when the mirror tells us we're older. I will hold you, and I will be here to watch your growing beauty and tell you all the things you are to me. I will be here. I will be true to the promises I have made to you and to the one who gave you to me. And just as sure as seasons are made for change, our lifetimes are made for years. So I will be here, we'll be together, and I will be here.
Thank you. Now many of you know this couple very well, but you may or may not know some of their story. I would now like to give you a little flavour of the journey that Laura and Sean have made together to get them to this spot here today. Their story began on the 3rd of May 2014 in the Gilly-Doo in Edinburgh. Sean was living in Edinburgh at the time for work and was out with some colleagues for drinks when he spotted Laura at the bar. They began speaking and he asked her what she'd like to drink. And she ordered a raspberry vodka. A very interesting drink of choice, Sean thought. Laura was in Edinburgh visiting her sister Susan, who'd also moved to the city. And when Sean and Laura moved to a table to continue their chat, they had occasional visits from her sister and best friend, who were intrigued as to who this mystery man was. Laura and Sean were getting on so well, and the drinks were flowing, so Laura decided to challenge Sean to a little game. She dared him to see if he could steal some logs from the open fire. Sean willingly accepted said challenge and successfully completed the task set. But ladies and gentlemen, don't be alarmed, no crime was committed and the logs were returned to their rightful place before they left the bar. The evening was such a hit that they completed their night visiting the local McDonald's for some much needed sustenance. Now, it would be fair to say that they had formed an instant connection and they definitely fancied each other. And having exchanged numbers, they met up again the following week when Laura was in the city for her cousin's wedding. A series of dates ensued in the capital where they would spend hours in favourite haunts such as the Dome, getting better acquainted over some nice bottles of wine. Now, as some of you may know, Sean wasn't a huge fan of Scotland initially. And Laura told me that in the early days, Sean spoke a lot about London. Laura endeavoured to change his opinion of Scotland, and as they became an item and fully embodied the notion of love's young dream with dates galore, Sean's feelings towards Scotland began to change, and his chat about London became less frequent. Sean and Laura knew that they were smitten with each other, and when Sean had the opportunity to move back to London in September, he decided instead that he wanted to stay in Scotland to be with Laura. This fun-loving pair began to spend alternate weekends in Glasgow and Edinburgh, and they always ensured they made the most of their time together. They are both self-proclaimed foodies and love to try out new eateries, and when they aren't wining and dining, they enjoy a good yomp around the cities. They even went to their very memorable date at the Royal Highland Show doing tractors for the day. This lovely couple's commute did become that little bit longer when Sean did have to move back to London 2 years later. However, long-distance dating wasn't a problem for them, and when Laura would visit Sean in London, as well as exploring the sights of the city, they'd also do some travelling. They love a holiday, and Laura recalls when they went to Dublin to celebrate her birthday in their first year. And as they sat in a lovely restaurant enjoying their dinner, Sean had romantically organised for the whole restaurant to sing her happy birthday. Not knowing at that point that that really isn't Laura's thing yet. Although she thought it was a very sweet gesture, she was cringing with embarrassment. Sean very quickly took note and hasn't arranged that type of surprise since. Sean and Laura had known that they were utterly devoted to each other, and they finally moved in together in Glasgow in 2017. And living together is, as they described to me, just fun. They're such a hard-working pair, so enjoy nothing more than spending their weekends enjoying life in Glasgow and exploring the city. And in November 2019, Sean decided he wanted to ask Laura to marry him. And he had designed a ring for Laura, and on New Year's Eve, he asked Richard if he could have his daughter's hand in marriage. And after getting the seal of approval, he began planning the proposal. On the 8th of February 2020, with a sparkling ring and a car stuffed with bags, Sean and Laura left Glasgow and went to Storm Dennis to go to Laura's parents' home in Ely. It was a lovely, sunny, but cold morning, and Sean was feeling a little nervous. He told me that Laura is notoriously good at sniffing out presents. So to compensate, Sean had packed a list of study books in the bag, so to hide the ring and a bottle of champagne that he packed. And filled with nerves, he periodically kept checking the bag. Laura, in the meantime, wasn't too impressed that Sean had brought all of his books with him, as she wanted him to enjoy his weekend and switch off from his studies. Sean, however, had a plan, and he suggested that Laura come with him to get some rolls and milk. Now, due to the weather, Laura wasn't too keen, but fortunately he managed her to come with him. And on the way back from running her errands, they ventured on to Ely Beach, and to Laura's surprise, Sean got down on one knee and proposed her with her ring and asked her to marry him. Laura was so surprised and asked, "Is that mine?" To which Sean confirmed it was, and Laura said a big yes, and Sean placed the ring on her finger. However, it was too big. So Sean popped it back into the box for safety. As they continued their wander along the beach, Laura, still in complete shock at what had just happened, asked Sean if he would do it again. And at that, Sean got down on one knee and asked Laura if she would be his wife. To which Laura gleefully confirmed again that she absolutely would. Ely has become such a special place for both Laura and Sean, with countless happy memories made there. And so when it came to them choosing a place to become husband and wife, it made perfect sense to be in the East Group. So here, Laura and Sean stand today on their wedding day. Their journey here behind them, but with all their aspirations and hopes ahead of them. They've grown stronger together all the way, and I'm sure they will grow stronger together as a couple still, as they take their next steps into the next chapter of their story together. So let's begin. Now, during their time together, I think we can all agree that Laura and Sean have come to understand, respect, and love each other dearly. When we met, Laura and Sean graciously agreed to independently share with me 3 reasons why they love each other. Now, they don't know what the other one said, so I am now going to reveal their answers. Sean, we'll start with yours. So Sean's first reason was, he said, Laura always thinks of others and wants to make people happy. She's so kind and considerate to other people and gets so much joy out of other people's happiness. She makes me feel so loved in the simplest of ways, such as picking up my favourite cake when she's out shopping, but shows that she's always thinking of me and ways to brighten my day. Her caring nature is infectious and helps me make me a more understanding and thoughtful person. Second reason, Laura is fun and spontaneous and challenges me to live in the moment. She's always up for a good time, whatever the weather and whatever the occasion. She also doesn't like to plan things too far in advance or take herself too seriously. So in many ways, she's totally opposite to me. Being with Laura has helped me to loosen up, be more spontaneous and live in the moment. And she's brought so much happiness and laughter to my life. And Sean's third reason, Laura is incredibly patient and supportive and goes out of her way to help others if she can. I know at times I can be difficult and that I've asked a lot of Laura, particularly during all the years that I've been studying, but she has never been anything but supportive of me. And for that, I will always love her and want to be there to offer that same support to her. Thank you. Laura? 3 reasons why I love you, Sean Stokes. Because you are so hardworking, dedicated and committed to everything you do. You have worked really hard to get to where you are. I could never have studied as hard as you have, and I really admire you for it. I'm so proud of you and all that you've achieved. You make me feel special and safe. You're a solutionist and always come up with a plan when I'm panicking or need reassurance. Any problem or worry can be solved by a Sean cuddle. I love when you cuddle me, as I feel so safe and secure in your arms. And I love how you make me laugh. Everyone thinks I'm the silly one, but you are just as silly, Sean Stokes. I love how you love to sing and dance. It makes me laugh so much. The video of you Greek dancing will never not make me laugh. I love that I introduce you to Strictly Come Dancing and now you love it just as much as me. And I love how you try to recreate the dances. A particular favourite being the Bill Bailey move. I just love you, she said. Thank you. You're lovely. Can I now ask Rebecca to deliver our second reading today, which is Everything I Know About Love.
I know that love can be loud and jubilant. It can be dancing in the smoky mud and the pouring rain to festivals and shouting, "You're amazing," over the band. It's introducing them to your work colleague into the work event and basking in pride as they make people laugh and make you look lovable just by dint of being loved by them. It's laughing until you wheeze. It's waking up in a country neither of you have been in before. It's skinny dipping at dawn. It's walking along the street to get out on a Saturday night and feeling like an entire city is yours. It's a big, beautiful, ebullient force of nature. I also know that love is a pretty quiet thing. It's lying on the sofa together drinking coffee, talking about where you're going to go that morning to drink more coffee. It's folding down pages of thick books you think they find interesting. It's hanging up their laundry when they leave the house, having ironically forgotten to take it out of the washing machine. It's saying, you're safer here than in a car, as they hyperventilate on an EasyJet flight to Dublin. It's the text, hope your day goes well, how did today go, thinking of you today, and picked up Euro. I know that love happens under the splendour of the moon and stars, and fireworks and sunsets, but it also happens when you're lying on blow-up airbeds in a childhood bedroom, sitting in A&E, or in a queue for a passport, or in a traffic jam. Love is a quiet, reassuring, relaxing, pottering, pedantic, harmonious coming within. Something you can easily forget is there, even though it's calm or outstretched community in case you fall.
Sean and Laura are now going to exchange their personal vows in the traditional manner of hand fasting, and there will be tying ribbons around their joined hands as a way of confirming their union. Hand fasting is an ancient Celtic marriage ritual, and if you ever wondered where the expression tying the knot comes from, now you know. It is a symbolic way of showing that they are joined to one another, and although originally the idea was that they'd be betrothed for a year and a day, Sean and Laura's hand fast will be for them. Master the tying of the knot, this will put you in good stead for working together to make your marriage work and to keep your love alive. Together in marriage, you will bring out the best in each other and also learn from each other and grow together. And today, as you tie the knot together, your hand fasting is no knot of steel. You're not handcuffed to each other by force, but once tied, this is a strong knot because it is the will of both of you to make it so. May it never come undone under the strains of storms of life. May it sit lightly and pleasantly upon you, that you may walk through life hand in hand, mind with mind, and heart to heart. Sean and Laura, today on your wedding day, as you promise to love each other forever, you're holding the hands of your best friend. These are the hands that will work alongside yours as together you build your future. These are the hands that will passionately love you and cherish you through the years. These are the hands that will give you strength and support when you need it. And as your hands are joined together now, so may our hearts always be. Do you, Sean, in the presence of your family and friends, take Laura to be your wedded wife? Do you promise to love her, honour her, and protect her, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, be faithful to her for as long as you both shall live? Do you, Laura, in the presence of your family and friends, take Sean to be your wedded husband? Do you promise to love him, honour him, and protect him, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, be faithful to him for as long as you both shall live? There we go. We have now come to the most important part of the ceremony, your legal vows. And Sean and Laura will also be exchanging rings. Family and friends, if you're able, will you please stand? The wedding ring is a circle. It is a symbol of wholeness, strength, cooperation and peace. It is an embrace that can surround you and caress you. And it is a support that can inspire you without limit. Chris, will you please come forward with the ring and pass Laura's gift to Sean? Keep call upon these persons here present
I call upon these persons here present
to witness that I, Sean Victor Stokes,
to witness that I, Sean Victor Stokes,
solemnly and sincerely declare that I accept you, Laura Caroline Joyce, as my lawfully wedded wife.
that I accept you, Laura Caroline Joyce, as my lawfully wedded wife.
I give you this ring as a sign of my love
I give you this ring as a sign of my love
and a symbol of our marriage.
and a symbol of our marriage.
I promise to give you my trust and respect,
I promise to give you my trust and respect,
support you to share with you,
to support you and to share with you,
and to love you for the whole of our life together.
and to love you for the whole of our life together.
Thank you. Repeat these words after me. I call upon these persons here present.
I call upon these persons here present
To witness that I, Laura Caroline Joyce,
to witness that I, Laura Caroline Joyce,
solemnly and sincerely declare
solemnly and sincerely declare
that I accept you, Sean Victor Stokes, as my lawfully wedded husband.
that I accept you, Sean Victor Stokes, as my lawfully husband.
I give you this ring as a sign of my love
I give you this ring
and a symbol of our marriage.
and a symbol of our marriage.
I promise to give you my trust and respect,
I promise to give you my trust and respect,
to support you, to share with you,
to support you and share with you,
and to love you for the whole of our life together.
and to love you for the whole of my life together.
Always get stuck in the good thing. Sean and Laura, you have chosen to marry and have pledged your love, respect and commitment to each other. You have promised to stand by each other through whatever your lives together may bring. Following the declarations made before me and in the presence of these witnesses, it is now my most pleasant duty to pronounce that you are now husband and wife. Congratulations! But before you join the newlyweds for drinks reception, Sean and Laura, it has been a great privilege to have been able to marry you today in front of your friends and family, and I wish you every happiness for your future together. You have joined your lives today without hesitation and with open and trusting hearts. Whatever you encounter together. Remember your commitment to love, care for, and cherish each other. On behalf of Laura and Sean, I'd like to thank you all for coming here today to witness this very happy occasion. I hope you all enjoy the rest of today's celebration. Finally, if you would please be upstanding and make as much noise as you possibly can, it gives me the greatest pleasure to present you all for the very first time, Mr. and Mrs. Stokes.
This could be a sweet story.
these guys. Look at that. How smart are you? We can have a shot later. There's the Lewis man. Smile for the camera.